Hey everyone, this is Don with Overedge Props, and I'm here to bring you the next render. This one is the Legendary Shield from Rising of the Shield Hero. Now, when I did the Raid Shield video, I did take a bit of time and talk about the lore, so on this one I'm not really going to talk too much about it, but just to give you a quick rundown, this is the first shield that Naofumi gets when he's isekai'd into the world that he's currently in. It is one of the 4 legendary weapons for the Cardinal Heroes, mainly for the Shield Hero. This one can actually transform into and use abilities for shields that Naofumi unlocks, like the Raid Shield. And it is the shield that Naofumi is most commonly seen with. And that would be like in promotional art, or even when he's just like walking around town when he's not, on a quest or something. Now, as you may have noticed, the sketching portion of the video is missing, and that was an intentional thing. I decided to skip doing the sketch just to cut down on the video time, which would also cut down on the upload time to YouTube. The area that I live in does not have the best internet, and all my past videos have taken anywhere from 3 to 5 hours to upload onto YouTube. But if it is something that people would like to see, so that way they can see the entire process from start to finish, I am more than willing to bring that back. I just kind of wanted to test something with this one. But if I'm being perfectly honest, you guys didn't miss much with the sketch. It wasn't very difficult to do for the most part. All I did was I sketched out half of the shield, and then once I got it the way I liked, or what I thought I would like, I then just mirrored it to the other side. Now, just before I was about to actually start doing the 3D modeling portion of it, I noticed that the piece of fan art that I was using was not accurate to what the official artwork was. So I ended up scrapping some of the original sketch, which was just around where the jewel is in the middle, and kind of winged it on how the shape is for the black detail that is around the jewel itself. But I feel like I got it to look pretty close. The reference picture that I ended up using was actually a picture of the Figma figure that is going to be released, and that was a big help going into this reference or going into this render. Now, the render that I did may look a little different than what you would see in the anime, but for the most part, I feel like it looks pretty good. Generally speaking, this was kind of easy for me to render, given that I've done 2 more difficult shields in the past. I kind of had a general idea of what my workflow is going to be going into this one, and since it was a little more simplistic, I didn't have to worry about, as many inlay details, as many layers, and I could kind of focus more on like line accuracy and anything else that I felt needed a little more attention. Probably the most difficult part of this render was actually the back of the shield itself. And the reason for that was I only had one picture of the back, and that picture was at an angle with Naofumi holding the handle, so I didn't get a whole picture of how it looks. I was able to get enough of it to kind of figure out how it should look and kind of go from there. I did take a little, artistic freedom with it, but I feel like it looked pretty accurate to what I could see. And thank God for that reference picture is all I'm going to say, because that was the only one I could find of how the back of the shield even remotely looked. Now, the paint portion of this whole thing, I think I only used a total of 4 different textures for this one, whereas some of the ones in the past that I've done have had anywhere from like 8 to 10 at some points. Majority of it is the mirror texture, which is the same texture that I used on the blade edge of the elucidator render that I did. For the black detail pieces in the front, I used just the gloss black instead of the metallic flake. And that was because that part of it was actually laid into the blade, or into the shield. I don't know why I said blade. I have swords on my mind. And I didn't want to take away from, the mirror and the jewel, so I just went with just a gloss, so that way it still shined, but it wasn't the focal point. The jewel itself is the emerald gemstone texture, which is the same thing I used for part of the medallion on the Kiana sword that I rendered a while back. And the only differences between those two is that on the back of this gem, I actually put a gloss white paint to lighten up the color and make it a little brighter. I tried to use black and I tried to use gray, but it made it a little too dark, so I settled on the white. This will be the last of the Shield Hero renders for now. In the future, I may come back and do the second Raid Shield, but the next two that I'm going to do is going to be, one's going to be an original design for a Twitch VTuber. I'm not being commissioned for it or anything like that. I never have been for any of the ones that I've done. They're just kind of passion projects of mine because I get inspired and, I got to get my ideas down on paper and then into the 3D modeling space. The one that I'm going to do after that was actually a request from a friend of mine, and it's going to be the Halloween Town Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts. My friend D, who has been my friend for many, many years, is the one that requested the Keyblade. She is a Twitch streamer. She mainly streams playing like Overwatch, other kinds of FPS games, strategy games. I'll link her channel down below. Please go give her a follow. Stop by when she's streaming. Show her some love. She deserves it. She's a great person. She deserves every bit of love that's going to be coming her way. After I get done with the original render, I'm going to be putting up a poll up on Twitter. And I'm going to have some choices up there, and then there'll be an option for you guys to also put in some of your own choices. And if I find something that I like, then I may render it in the future. Who knows? As always, please give this video a like, comment down below if you have something to say, and consider subscribing so that way you can see future renders. And if you want to as well, ring that little bell that's down there so that way you know exactly when a video goes live. And if you aren't already, follow me over on Twitter so that way you can take part in the next poll and any future polls and just to see what I'm up to and hear me rant about stuff. But again, I am Don with Overedge Props. This has been my legendary shield render from Rising of the Shield Hero. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you guys in the next one, and stay safe out there.